That didn't take long. On the lamprey section. Doesn't feel big at all, but it's a runt. You sorted the net yet, aye? Well done. I think the double streak's over. I think that's tiny.
Do you want it in the net or do you want me just to pick it up?
Yeah, but I think. Ain't no monster, but it blanks off as they say. Thank you, hang about. No. Well, our own first truck's a good start to anybody's doing it. It can only get bigger. Well, I don't think I'd get to see it again this winter.
It's been a while.
I'll come back to Esox Diaries. Aye. When was the last time we were at Pike fishing together?
November, maybe?
I think it was late October, early
Late
November,
October,
aye.
yeah. Just not done much pike fishing at all this winter. Have you missed it?
Aye, no. Aye, probably more no than that. I think because the main reason for that is the other aspects of fishing that we've put more time into, i.e. the catch-22 species hunt, which has been, it's just brought that fun element back to fishing.
It's
That
been good.
I actually said to Alex, I think it was maybe even sitting on the boat that last pike session, just something feels different for the last few years, and kind of narrowed it down to the fact that we hadn't done any species type hunting.
Yeah.
And I love that style of fishing, and that's what we've put a lot of time into and effort into this.
Yeah. And I've enjoyed this winter probably more than previous winters. Previous winters has been a wee bit kind of one-dimensional, maybe two-dimensional, grayling and pike. Whereas this winter has been a wee bit more of a mixed bag, and it's been nice, it's been good. But I suppose it is nice to be back out, rods on alarms, dead baits in the water. Brings that anticipation back, doesn't it?
We did get an early run there, albeit a tiddler.
It's a blank saver.
A blank saver, as they say. But we've come up with a concept for this video, is that fair to say?
Aye. Aye.
And we're just going to basically, as some of you know that have followed the channel since we began 2.5 years ago, whatever it is, was we, excuse me, cold air's hit my chest. Because of the type of YouTube channel we created, it's the individual vlogs, individual sort of personal goals, challenges. I think we've completed 90% of them.
Still
Other
a
than that, daft
few. There's
roach.
still a few roach in the tenge. That'll
Oh,
come.
aye, the tenge, I forgot about the tenge.
That'll come this year.
But Esox Diaries, finally, both of us, and I can get to talk about it in this video, I wasn't allowed in the last 3. The trip down to the River Trent, which all 3 videos should now be up on the channel. But we just thought we would go through the kind of the history, if you will, of not just our pike fishing, but kind of the whole lead up to Esox Diaries, and maybe touch on a few touchy subjects.
Highs and lows, positives, negatives,
Highs,
pros,
lows.
cons.
So, with that said, the comment section in the last video blew up. I've got a funny feeling we'll blow up in this one as well.
100%. It's a pike video. Of course it will.
Right, will we get ourselves organised?
Yeah. I'll not say so. I don't want to say so.
I'll cut up anyway.
Fishing. I love fishing. I've loved it since I was a kid. I started fishing when I was about 4 or 5 years old, but it wasn't really until my maybe early teens that I sort of turned my attention to pike fishing. After seeing it on TV, you know, your go fishing, your sort of those sort of TV programs really got the sort of pike juices flowing, so to speak. So yeah, probably the early 90s. No, late 90s it'd have been, yeah, kind of mid to late 90s. Probably just at the tail end of when English anglers were really the only sort of focus on Scottish pike fishing. So before the sort of boom in Scottish pike fishing, so to speak. And I loved it. I was obsessed with it through my teens.
Well, like Alex said, pike fishing grabbed my attention through the famous John Wilson. Like most of my fishing, that spark was ignited by watching Go Fishing, and then on to like Paul Young, anglers like that. I did not know where to begin with pike fishing until I moved to the sunny Balloch, which is right on the banks of Loch Lomond. And if it wasn't for magazines and forums where I picked up the little knowledge that I did, I probably wouldn't have the confidence to go pike fishing. And as I say, didn't know where to begin. Did not know where to begin. I stumbled my way through pike fishing, blanking more often than I care to mention. But my knowledge and my understanding of pike fishing kind of grew through social media, which we'll touch on later on, and through fishing alongside Alex, where I finally got into the kind of enjoyment side of all aspects of pike fishing, from the lure fishing, dead baiting, and then subsequently fly fishing. But it genuinely it began with that fascination of watching John Wilson, who, as I say, for all my fishing, it's all thanks to that man. How has pike fishing progressed? For me, slowly, very slowly. Or, in this case, maybe we've got a run. This is a close-in rod with a herring tail on it. It's literally in about, took some line there, 3 feet of water. No. Felt it taking line, so I struck it early. Maybe too early. That's quite a big chunky bait. That's going straight back out. Honestly, that's in about 2-3 foot of water. Let him off. see if it'll pick it up again. So as I said, slowly I eased myself into pike fishing, and it was all centred around lure fishing. Even that was so slow. Took me a while to get a fish. There's a local area where I stay close to. It gets hammered from what I've learned over the years. It does hold some nice fish, nothing huge. And I think it was believe it or not, a Toby. Again, limited knowledge, not knowing what I was doing. It was a Toby that I finally caught my first pike on the lure. Again, you walk into these tackle shops, you buy lures, you buy more lures, and you buy even more lures. They probably catch the angler more than they catch fish at times. But I just slowly started to build up an arsenal of lures. Then you try different types of lures, you find what works, you find what colours work. Then you start building up a knowledge of, it's actually better in the morning, or this area is better in the evening. So then you start targeting those times for a few hours with the lures. And then the dead baiting scene, to be honest with you, it scared me at first. I used to watch folk, treble hooks flying about, horns into big pikes' mouths, and I was like, I need to find somebody that can show me the ropes, so to speak. And I don't even know if they still pike fish, but old Colin and old Joe were the first two, and a bit of golfing, were kind of showed me the ropes, so to speak. I didn't really learn until I met Alex, if the truth be told. How to set the rods up, understanding the setups with the alarms and the drop back, and just everything to do with understanding the dead baiting setup. So it's going right back to basics. And even now, I wouldn't say I'm an accomplished pike angler. I know the basics. I can hold my own. I can go pike fishing on my own. It's always better, as I say, to go pike fishing with a mate. That extra pair of hands is always helpful. But I'm still learning. I wouldn't say I've progressed from a starting point to have achieved everything in pike fishing. I've not. And I never would ever try and proclaim to be an accomplished pike angler, because I'm not. But social media played a massive part in it as well. Learning from what people say online. But that'll get covered in the next topic. Hope that rod goes again.
Progressed. Jeez. I think it's regressed in the last 5 years, maybe. Not because I've necessarily lost the love for it, it's just that there's been so much more fishing to be had. But yeah, early teens through to maybe early 20s was really just about learning the ropes, messing around on the canal. That was really where I started my coarse fishing, pike fishing sort of journey, so to speak. But it wasn't really until early 20s where I started to actually get a little bit of success and manage some nice fish. You know, it was maybe when we made the move to the big lochs, the big Trossach lochs, Loch Acre, Loch Veruca, Loch Ard, then up to Loch Awe, Loch Lomond, where I started to actually catch some decent fish. Nothing massive. I've had a few 20s, I think I've had 14 20s over the years, but all fairly low 20s, 20, 21, 22. I think up until recently my PB was only, it was about 24, 12 I think it was, from one of the big lochs. But then, yeah, like I said, over the last 5 years, it's taken a step back. Well, I've taken a step back from really focusing on pike for various reasons. But yeah, the biggest reason is the variety, the sheer variety that's out there, and the methods that we've discovered in recent times: grayling, roach, tench, a lot of sea fishing, sea trout. There's loads. There's just far too much to mention. Pros and cons. I suppose with everything, there's positives and there's negatives, and fishing is no different, really. The pros speak for themselves. I mean, we all know what we get from fishing, what we take from fishing. Everyone's different. We all take different things from it. We all know it's great for your mental health. It's great just being out in the fresh air. So the pros don't really need much explanation from me. The cons, although we're trying to keep it as positive as possible, we found out very quickly that social media and fishing don't necessarily go hand in hand all the time. And yeah, definitely the biggest sort of negatives from my fishing personally comes from social media. Now, Esox Diaries started 2 years ago, and it was one of these vlogs that we set ourselves a target, and we worked towards that. But before Esox Diaries, I was fairly active on social media, not as much Instagram, but Facebook definitely. And there are a certain facet of the angling community that just do not like social media for their own reasons. And as soon as you step into that social media world and you start to, with all good intentions, start to share your experiences, start to share your stories, you are kind of sticking your head up to be shot at, so to speak. And yeah, we've had our fair share of negativity from social media. And Esox Diaries on YouTube, that's not an exception. You know, we do expect it. We've learned to sort of just take it in a stride, really. No, you cannot please everyone. But back to the positives. I want to end on a positive with regards to this. Is the amount of positive feedback that we've had from social media through Esox Diaries, but through our other vlogs and our other videos as well. So yeah, you definitely can't please everyone. We're not trying to. But the positives massively outweigh the negatives, in my opinion.
Pros and cons of the pike fishing world, eh? Well, the pros for dead baiting is a comfy recliner. Let me tell you, it's a good place to come and get a snooze out in the fresh air. But on a serious note, as Alex touched on, mental health and fishing. Me personally don't think there is a better remedy for what's going on up in here to come out and just, everybody's seen the videos and social media posts about how fishing is people's place. Well, they calm down, their brain switches off, whether it's, what's wrong?
I'm just laughing.
I thought you'd forgot to press a button or something. No. That's usually what happens. He has, isn't he? Take two. He forgot to press record again. That's one of the cons. Trying to do this for Alex's murder. Right, no, all seriousness. Pros and cons of pike fishing. The pros for me with dead baiting is a nice comfy recliner. Because there's no better place to come and have a snooze by the bank. And it's the only alarm I'm sure fishermen enjoy getting woken up to. Lure fishing. Evenings after work, late nights, you can get to go out and roam the bank, cast some lures. The fly rod as well has played a part. Not so much. Have had a few pike on the fly. But as Alex touched on a kind of serious note, reining it back in a bit, the old mental health. It's helped me through a lot of ups, downs in my life, where sometimes you just need to get the fuck out of the road. Whether it's the wife, work, both, relationships, you need a break for the world out there. And it's certainly done. It's played its part for me from dark places, shall we say. So for fishing, I think that's where I want a wee thank you. Pros in fishing, for me, I always thought was surround yourself in a community of people, but like-minded people. And like-minded people, I've met some great guys through fishing. Social media comes into play, as Alex says, when you build a following. That's how I met Alex, for example, from when he used to write quite a lot on his blog. If it wasn't for the opportunity in helping out the guys from Guru a couple of years ago, that's where we initially saw the opportunity maybe to delve into the world of YouTube. It was me that pushed Alex into it, if you will. I've always enjoyed the movies. I've always enjoyed storytelling. And I always thought, there's a lot of YouTube channels out there that focus on fishing. But depending on what you're into, some might be good, some might be bad, some might be shit. But I had this vision I wanted to try and put across. The longer videos as opposed to the wee short, quick 15, 20, 30, 60 second videos. But as Alex touched on, that's where we encountered problems. But we've learnt from them. I think when you've got an issue with somebody, especially on social media, the people I listen to are the ones that go about it the right way. If you're going to be an adult about it, contact us and say, by the way, I don't think that's good what you're doing. I'm not going to get into the finer details of it all. Some of you will be aware of things that have happened to us personally in the past. It's how you go about dealing with people. Social media brings out, I'll put it a wee bit more colourful than Alex did, brings out the arseholes of the world. Now, I'm not saying everybody's an arsehole out there that's got an opinion. If you don't align with our views, if you don't, no, it's like politics in a way, innit? No, everybody's politics are different. But I enjoy the creative aspect of my fishing now that I'm making the videos. It's something that I've always aspired to do. I enjoy the editing, I enjoy putting together and telling a story. And if somebody gets something from that, something positive, which a lot of people have reached out privately. I'm not going to name names, I'm not going to tell you the details, but it's been positive. And that's what makes all this worthwhile. It's that you've helped somebody through a tough time.
Achievements. That's a tough one because I'm not the most accomplished pike angler. I don't place pike fishing that high on my priority list anymore. So it's kind of hard to pick achievements. It's an achievement that I'm still here pike fishing after the couple of years we've had. And if you've watched Esox Diaries, we've struggled. We've struggled a lot. Alright, yep, we've had a couple of nice fish. I eventually got my PB, 26 pounds from the Lake of Menteith, troutwater pike. It was a nice big chunky fish. But was that my highlight of pike fishing? Probably not. Probably not. I love catching fish. I love catching fish of all types. But I don't really have that massive desire to catch a 30 pound pike. I'm not really that fussed about it. I enjoy catching mid doubles, upper doubles, a 20 if one comes along. Fantastic, I'll take it. And I've had a few. Some nice low 20s from Lomans are fish that I would happily catch week in, week out. But if I was to pick, it's a tough one, but if I was to pick my biggest achievement in pike fishing, it would probably need to go back to when pike fishing was a bigger part of my fishing. Back when I was, like I said before, in my early 20s. And it has to be my first 20, because back then I was dying to catch a 20 pound fish. And it took years, but I finally got one. My first 20 was 21.4, I think it was. And I think it was from Lochard. It was a cracking big fish. I'm sure I've got a photo somewhere. I'll do a Gordon and throw a photo up. But yeah, my first ever 20. I'm sure I think I was 21 actually. I was 21 at the time. But yeah, since then, I've got bigger challenges. I've got challenges that are yeah set much higher than anything to do with the pike fishing anymore. Like my PB roach, £1.09, probably ranks higher than any pike that I've got. That's where I am at the minute with regards to pike fishing. It's quite nice just sitting here in the sun though.
One thing I will be honest with you here, right, is we don't do scripts or storyboards or any plan. We literally wing it, as I've said before. But we did write down this time a kind of list of questions, and I kind of giggled there when I read the last one. It's achievements. Everybody gauges PBs, as I've come to realise in the last few months, differently. Different country PBs, different technique PBs, different bait caught PBs, different water PBs. For me, your PB is your PB. As I said before, we like to challenge ourselves in all aspects of fishing. One of my personal challenges with pike fishing is a bit like the sea trout. I like to try and catch them on different methods. So, try and catch one in the lure, try and catch one in the fly, try and catch one for the boat, for the bank, dead baiting. We'll try and tick all the boxes. Try and learn as much as you can about all the different aspects and kind of grow that knowledge. Maybe try fishing with different people at times as well. You can learn so much from other, maybe experienced anglers. But my greatest achievement for me is just catching a bloody fish. I'm happy catching fish. But deep down there's that desire to catch a fucking big one, isn't it? That's what everybody wants when they're pike fishing. They want that big trophy fish. And then they gauge their own successes on how big or how long, depending on the way you want to do it. But for 7 years of kind of pike fishing on and off through the winters, £20 and 2 ounce was my biggest. I've caught plenty jacks, whether it be the fly, the lures. Have caught a couple of nice fish on the big loch, on the lures. I'm quite chuffed with. You find a new spot, you learn a bit about it, you learn where the drop-offs are, you learn what time of day, you learn what lure works, and then you go out and you nail a half-decent pike. They're achievements for me. But bragging rights between mates, that's your greatest achievement, isn't it? When you can one-up your mate and have a bit of banter about it. And that came just a couple of weeks ago for me. Luck. I've not properly told the story in any great detail, but luck played a massive part in what happened in catching. I still can't, when I say it, it's still not sunk in, it's still Disney Register that happened. The £33 and 9 ounce Dutch pike, if you will, closed off, ticked off the Esox Diaries goal, if you will, was to catch a £25 plus pike. Mine came whilst perch fishing on a 28 gram jig rod, drop shot rod, sorry. And I'm not a fan of the live scope. I get that it helps you to a degree, but we were targeting a shoal of perch and they just were not interested in anything that we threw at them. So I had a jig fly. I'll pop a picture up. It was sent to me by Dave McFluffchucker. He said, "Can you try these out for us?" I said, "Not a problem, mate." So I had it on the rod sitting. I just thought, I'm going to have a couple of chucks out the back of the boat. Now, at the back of the boat at this particular mark, it is known for being a good pike, big pike. The guide himself had caught several 30s. So we knew there could be pike in the area. So I'd cast it out the back of the boat down this slope. And I was just slowly bouncing it up and down the bottom, holding the braid in long pauses. And I just felt this most delicate touching my finger with the braid. Like, yeah, that felt different. I know I've said this before, and I've heard other anglers say it before. When you strike into a fish, you think, oh, fuck, snagged. And I genuinely thought it was the bottom. The wee rod just buckled over. Then the guide said, that's a big fish. Literally, as he said that, it started moving. But if you've ever skate fished, that slow haul up, keeping the tension in the rod, and then before I knew it, it was sitting, and it literally sat staring at us. The filming is limited on this guy's boat. He doesn't allow it. Certain areas are a no-go for filming. He has his reasons. Hence why you're not seeing any footage. But the guide got the net stuck. There was a treble hook, he didn't know, was stuck in the net as he went to unfold it. And he caught his finger. And I'm saying, get that net, get fucking that net, that fish. I was panicking. And just as he scooped the net into the water, big flick of the tail and the fish was straight into the net. I didn't quite realise it was Jamie. I was with from Predator Zone. His reaction, I was like, he was higher up looking down on the boat. I'd kind of sat down like relief. And then it wasn't to be lifted into the boat away. I was like, holy shit. Look at the size of that thing. The thickness of it was unbelievable. The depth in it. And the length. I reckon it was about 118 to 120 centimetres. So we kind of agreed to meet in the middle. The measuring tape was forgot by the guide. But it weighed 33 pounds and 9 ounces. We managed to get a couple of quick photos and get it back in the water. And this is where the footage began. You'll see now. Literally held it for 30-40 seconds. And then it just belted away. As I say, sitting here telling the story now, it does remind me that fishing and luck go hand in hand. Do you know what I mean? You need a bit of luck at times as well. So that's probably my greatest achievement in pike fishing. But, not that I'm one for drawing up a long list of PBs. I do want a big, wild Scottish water one. That would be a really big achievement for me. That would probably mean more, but it wouldn't be my PB if it was less than 33 with it. Because your PB is your PB at the end of the day. And that ticked off Esox Diaries. So now we're trying to think of another concept for Esox Diaries. Or will we? We'll see.
It is. Fish on. We're in. Bright sunshine and all. I wasn't expecting anything until last knockings, but I don't think he's that big. All that matters is it's bigger than Gordon's.
Put one.
First one today. He's a long way out. It did feel heavy initially, but I think it was in a bit of weed. I don't think it's huge. Yeah, it is a fish.
Net is ready for you.
Thank you.
Watch yourself on the
drop.
drop.
He'll wrap himself up, I think. Yeah, he's only wee. He's very wee, must have been in a lot of weed earlier. How's he hooked? I think it's the same fish as Gordon. Well, ain't no monster. But at this time of year, when these wee guys are about, there might be something a bit bigger. Okay. Blank saver, let's get him back. He wasn't hanging around.
Well, another jack, most probably. Okay, this looks tiny. But it is the 5th run of the day. The 3rd fish. Watch Alex's line there, please, pal. As Alex says, if there's loads of these wee males about, hopefully there's one big female kicking about somewhere. And away. Meant to be getting bigger, not smaller. Aye, well, as expected, or as Alex expected. 5 runs, 3 fish. No doubles. Which this time of year you would expect at least. Well, you'd expect at least a few, wouldn't you? But I suppose that comes down to location, doesn't it? That's what people keep telling us. Fish the right areas at the right time of year. So whether we're in the right area or the wrong area, we've got a couple of hours left to be proved right or wrong. It's been good looking back over the past few years of Esox Diaries. There's been a lot of good memories. But as Alex says, forgot how exhilarating this is.
Well, that'll be the last of the dead baiting for this year. That's rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
Remember, it's a privilege.
Oh, we've been told off. We've been told off for moaning and sulking about how hard our fishing is because we should be feeling privileged to be fishing in such stunning locations, and of course we are. We are. But I'd much rather be catching fish. And it's just another day, and it's the same old story. Jacks after jacks after jacks. I just don't think we're very good at pike fishing anymore.
Golf club.
This is brutal. I hate this. Anyway, we'll see you later.
Maybe.